Everybody's big dream, they want to work for themselves. They want to be able to quit their job, they want to work from home, they want to do their thing, they want to be their own boss, they want to be an entrepreneur. They want to have that freedom from the shackles of employment. You most likely want the freedom from the shackles of employment. That's why you're watching this video. So in today's video, I'm going to give you some work for yourself ideas. I'm going to give you some of kind of the most well-known ways to work from home and to work for yourself. Plus, I'm going to give you kind of the mindset you need to be one of these people who kind of gets the luxury of being able to do this. And when I kind of dive into things, you'll see that it's not really a luxury at all, in that you have to do a substantial amount of work in order to get yourself in this position, but it can be done. So I'm going to cover some commonly known kind of work for yourself ideas, side business ideas, side hustle ideas that you can eventually go full time with. I'll kind of discuss the pros and cons of each, and then you can kind of take a look for yourself and see if one of those would be a viable option for you. But before we do that, please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the little notification bell so you can get brand new videos when they come out. That notification bell is very important, because it helps you get the videos right away, which helps you see them, which helps other people find them. So please hop on that right now. And yeah, some of the tips that I'm about to share with you today, a lot of the ideas, some of these are things from my personal life, things that I have used and done to go from where I'm at, or back in the past, to the point where I'm able to work for myself and do my own thing. So take heed of this advice from someone who's actually been through the process and use the insights to your advantage. Okay, the first work for yourself idea, I'm gonna get this one out of the way because it's kind of the most sexiest, everybody wants to do it, grass looks greener type of profession, and it's the profession that I'm in. But I want to give you the full picture of what it's going to take to be successful, and that is the idea of kind of being a content creator, someone who creates some form of content, whether that is writing, whether that is podcast, whether that's video, and who kind of has a brand built around it, and you're able to kind of monetize that brand using products you create or ad revenue from your platforms or different things like that. So if you want to be a content creator, if you want to be a blogger and an author like me, if you want to shoot a YouTube channel like me, which, by the way, I've made a total of probably $150 directly from my YouTube channel, for all of you get rich quick folks out there. If you want to start a podcast, all these different things, here's what you need to know. You really, 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 really have to like creating content if you want to make a living as a content creator, because let me tell you, you are going to have to create a lot of content. And in terms of pure efficiency from kind of idea to execution, content creation is probably one of the most inefficient models that you could choose if you want to work for yourself and make a full-time living from it. That being said, if you like it so much that you see it as the lane for you, that's the one that you have to pick, right? So there's a lot of different business models online that I could have tried, ones that I'm about to explain to you in a little bit, but I really love content creation. I am able to sit my butt in the chair and write every single day. I'm constantly shooting videos. I have a podcast going, and I know that in these mediums, the name of the game is volume, right? So unless you put out a certain amount of blog posts, a certain amount of videos, a certain amount of podcasts, you're not going to get the traction that you're really looking for. And what I see in a lot of content creators is they simply don't have the discipline to put out content on a consistent basis for years. This happens a lot with writers. I see writers who, they'll write a handful of blog posts, and all of a sudden they're wondering where their money is, they're wondering where the attention is, they're wondering where the riches are, right? I wrote for roughly 3 years before I really monetized my writing in a major way. So if you want to be successful at content creation, you have to create a lot of content. And then what you also have to do is you have to differentiate yourself and you have to find an angle, for kind of your brand to fit in. So in my case, when it came to the writing thing, I kind of developed a personality of being kind of a very no BS, very kind of non-politically correct, straightforward type of voice. So that's something that I learned over time, and that's how I was able to break into such a crowded space of content creation, particularly creating self-improvement content. And I find myself on YouTube where I'm having to go through the process all over again, where all of my kind of street cred or whatever from writing about personal development, that doesn't fly on YouTube because nobody knows who I am. I still have to do the work, and I still have to create a lot of content. I probably should go into deeper depths about content creation and how to become a full-time content creator, so I'll make a video about that in the future. But keeping it to the point, if you want to create content, you have to create a crap load of content. You have to really love doing it, and you have to find a way to let your unique personality shine through. The next work for yourself idea is kind of the opposite of content creation, in that it's the most straightforward work for yourself idea that you could do. It's something that I have seen people do with relative success in a short amount of time. Like, this is the type of business where if you really put your head down and wanted to do it, you could get a business up and running in a weekend. You could get it up and running in a month, couple months. And that is the idea of freelancing, or providing some sort of service directly to a business and they pay you. And a great way to think about kind of not how easy it is, but how it's not as difficult as you might think. Let's say you're somebody who makes 60 grand a year, right? So what is that? 5 grand a month of income. And you have to slave and work all those 40 hours to get that 5 grand. Well, if you were a freelancer who had 5 clients on retainer, each paying you $1,000 a month, which for a business really isn't that much money, you could replace your income at your job, be a freelancer. It wouldn't take you 40 hours worth of time to do that kind of $1,000 a month retainer, and you just need the clients. So that's kind of the difference between employment and then this kind of freelancing service-based thing. You get more convenience, you get to charge higher rates, you get more flexibility over your time, but then you take on all of the risk. If you have no clients, you have no income, right? So that's kind of the trade-off. But if you look at it, getting a handful of clients, getting 5 businesses to agree to pay you $1,000 a month isn't a lot at all. I used to work at a digital marketing company, and trust me, the difference between what they were charging for the services and what they were paying the employees who perform the service was quite vast. And I'm not knocking the business. That is how business and capitalism sort of works. So if you become a freelancer, you cut out that middleman and you go straight to the consumer, but then you have to take on the responsibilities of being a business owner. You have to go and find clients. And one reason why people have a hard time freelancing is because you kind of have to go out there and pitch yourself to find clients, and that means dealing with rejection. That means people might say no to you. That means maybe having to get on a phone call or a Skype call to close a deal with people. That means having to go back and forth, deal with their objections, deal with clients, deal with emotions, all those different things. So, that's really the risk premium really that you kind of pay for being an employee, is that you don't have to go through all that additional work. You can kind of just do your work and go home. But you can go direct to consumer as a freelancer and make a good living pretty quickly. And there are a lot of skills that you could learn that you don't need to be an absolute genius to be able to create a service for. You could learn copywriting to a level to be successful and charge for it. You could learn design at a level to be successful. You could learn how to computer program. You could learn how to do social media marketing and digital marketing, which, coming from that background, there's a really low bar, and a lot of businesses really don't understand marketing all that well. So you don't have to be that much better than them to charge them money. So there are a lot of different routes that you could take in terms of being a freelancer, and it's really a straightforward way that you could start executing and really working for yourself quite quickly. But again, all of these involve some level of discipline. So if you want to be a freelancer, it is really as easy as developing a skill worth charging for, having a little sign up, or a landing page, or a website with a portfolio displaying your skills, things like that. You can go into places on LinkedIn, literally find people to pitch your services to, or kind of create a little bit of content, get that traffic coming in so you have people interested in your stuff as well. So option number 2, freelancing. I did a lot of freelance writing in the beginning of my writing career. I didn't make a ton of money doing it, but it's a nice way to get some cash in your pocket. And getting cash in your pocket for doing something on your own, it gives you like just a higher level of confidence than what you would have done at a job. So if you really want to get straight to the money, start a freelancing business and you can get there relatively quickly. I'm spending a good chunk of time talking about each idea. So let's leave. The last one I'll put forth is kind of the idea of creating some sort of product business, right? So this is one I'm not super familiar with, but I have seen people do really, really well with. And product businesses can occur in a kind of a couple different forms. So one is e-commerce, right? And what you could do with e-commerce is you could do something called drop shipping, where people order their products and then you are kind of the middleman between the manufacturer, and the manufacturer actually ships them the products. Now, I've heard that way works, but I've heard a more kind of reliable system for e-commerce is where you actually create your own brand, you actually kind of create your own products, your own labels, which isn't really as hard as you think. It's really a matter of calling someone in China, telling them what they want you to make, and you kind of figuring out the label, the logo, the brand, the design, things like that. That's really how products are made. You call basically a guy in China, a guy or a gal in China, ask them to make you something, and then if you like what they make, you put it on your website for sale, you ship it out. If a couple people like that, then you start shipping more of it out, right? And with e-commerce, there's a complementary set of skills you have to learn. Running ads on Facebook is key. Learning how to write copy and how to write persuasive sales letters, taking good pictures of your products and being able to display them well. These are all things that will help you build a successful e-commerce store. And this is one that probably, if you wanted to do it well, you would need a decent amount of capital requirements, something in the 4-figure range for sure. But I've seen a lot of people with e-commerce brands take off and do really well. Another way that you can make money with a product that's really not your own product is something called affiliate marketing. And I do a little bit of this myself. So the way that affiliate marketing works is basically you create a website and you create content kind of being educational or featuring a certain product, or you just run ads to a product that you don't own yourself. And then when somebody clicks on a link to a product that you promote, you get a commission for promoting that product. And the understanding is really simple, that a company measures basically the cost of what it takes to acquire a customer. That's called your customer acquisition cost, versus the lifetime value of a customer, right? So they'll pay someone like me, someone like you, to acquire that customer for them, because they know over the lifetime, or at least the average lifetime, that customer is going to buy more product than what they paid you to acquire said customer. So again, this is kind of a little arbitrage, getting in the middle thing that you can do. And really, this is kind of how all businesses work. So I gave you a couple quick hitting tips, and I think this may be something that I could dive into a little bit more depth. I don't want this video to run too long, so maybe I'll dive into each of these a little bit more in the future. But the main emphasis is all of these work for yourself ideas involve you getting off of your ass and having to interact with people in the real world, having to put yourself out there, having to put your ego on the line to get bruised, having to do, tedious work, and having to have the level of discipline it takes to be successful. But this is something that can be done. I've often said, I have this thing called the 5-year rule that I've learned from other people, in that you kind of have to grind and put your head down for 5 years to be successful. But I have seen people do it in shorter time frames. I've seen people do it in 6 months. I've seen people do it in a year. It all comes down to how much you are willing to execute, how much information you can take in, and how willing and quickly you're able to act on that information. So hopefully these ideas resonate with you. I'll try to make sure to add links to other viable kind of blog articles that I've written about it, or other resources to help you get started. But those are kind of the 3 main buckets kind of in this online milieu that you can use to work for yourself. Think of which one would work best for you and go from there. Also, check out my flagship book, Real Help and Honest Guide to Self-Improvement. This is part of my product mix that helps me work from home, and also has multiple chapters on how to get that process started yourself, and it goes into a little bit more depth. And then next, check out a resource that's going to be very, very valuable to you. If you look down in the description below, you're going to see a link to the ultimate guide to discovering your talents and strengths. This guide is going to help you figure out what you're good at, and it'll show you ways that you can turn those skills into profit. So check that out, click the link, put your email in, you'll get the checklist right away. Lastly, make sure to like the video, leave your 2 cents. I want to talk with you and engage. Make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so you can get brand new videos when they come out. There should be some videos arriving in front of your face right now. Please check some of those out, and I will see you